What's up, guys, and welcome back for another Star Citizen solo Reclaimer episode. I camped out in the Reclaimer last night. I came out here to Yila, basically just fracked one hammerhead, built the buffer, and then kind of logged off at the night. But this episode I want to kind of talk about the how I've kind of refined my salvaging strategy in the Reclaimer here. Now, depending on like the server performance, the server performance directly affects the speed of these filler stations. So normally my biggest time sink is actually waiting on these things. But I'm going to kind of show you guys what I've been doing to kind of just maximize my time out on location here. I'm still convinced that this salvage lift is like bugged out. But I do use this a little bit to kind of throw stuff down there into the salvage bay, which doesn't have a grid for some reason. I feel like it should. I feel like it 100% should have a grid. But normally I try to start off with locking to the actual grid here in the process room. That gets you the first 10 boxes kind of out of the way. And these things can be like just finicky as heck sometimes. Come on. Overall, I think the server is actually operating pretty decently. But instead of just locking those to grid right now, well, I'm going to show you kind of how I utilize the cargo hold and also the salvage hold down here with these. I will also usually fill up the balcony first too, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about, I use the lift pretty much exclusively now. Get this thing rotated, and you kind of have to get it just right, but I try to get it kind of just barely off the ground and not that far away from me. Actually, I'm gonna switch this multi-tool. That's why I carry the rifle, because it tends to be a little more stable. You can go higher than you'd think because of the clearance here. But we'll go and put this one right here. I usually stack 5 in here, actually. We're probably going to have to restart these fillers. But normally I stage these kind of... And you can do like 8s, or you can do like 8s or 2s or 1s or whatever. But I find that the time I spend actually, you know, kind of messing with these 16s, getting them in here, is the same amount of time if I was making a bunch of 2s and stuff like that. Alright, let's get this thing rotated. I usually rotate it to face the opening here, and then place it on the ground like that, just to level it out a little bit. And then I'll get it in here and kind of bump it up. And I'll put another one on top there and then one down there. Just, it makes it easier to getting it out. We're probably going to have to restart these because I was a little slow on that. I haven't really been trying to like get an X amount of salvage in like 60 minutes like I did in the beginning, because that's just kind of easy to do. I mean, you could sit here and just put everything. You put 8 hammerheads in this room if you're not really worried about filling up the other holds. So I'm just I'm not really concerned with doing things like that anymore. I'm more or less just trying to utilize all the space, because most of that has to do with how long it takes to get out of like atmosphere on Orson, and just like the time sink there. Jesus, that box is there we go. Settle down, settle down. Alright, we're gonna leave it at 4 just because I think that one box is kind of doing weird stuff. So let's go ahead and go down to the cargo hold. I've done some experimenting with this cargo hold. You can actually lock 8, 2s, and 1s down here. Now, as far as 8s go, you can pretty much put 8 SCU boxes in the cargo hold. Go and get this opened up and kind of show this. So each one of these little sections that are in between these like beams, you can put like an 8 there, 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 and there, and then you can fill out around it with like 2s and 1s and stuff like that. All right, let's get these boxes out of here. I usually try to just line it up to the door and then just kind of back up. I've come up a little bit higher than you'd think because like the door is kind of lets you kind of pass through it. And in terms of just stacking these in here, there's no real science here, but these boxes can just like get hooked up on like anything and just like spin out of control, which is just kind of obnoxious. So something like that. Put another one over there. So just kind of bring it off the deck a little bit, and then instead of moving, I let it clear the door, and then I kind of start backing up my character, just because the bounce of your character can kind of mess up things. And I'm dealing with some crazy gravity right now. It's almost like I'm in zero, like a very light, low atmosphere. Of course, I had just logged into, but Jesus. Yeah, my lift is acting weird. But I'll usually do this for the first few hammerheads. If I can go ahead and fill up the cargo room and the process room, then it just makes the later hammerheads a lot easier. Come on. There we go. You see past that door on the top. A little time consuming, but I also feel a little bit better coming back to sell when this area is kind of filled. You can't really fit two next to each other with these beams, so it's just going to be kind of a whatever you can do. These things are sticking to each other pretty hardcore. But what I'll do is I'll put these 4 down here, and then the next we're going to make some more. You put like probably another one right there. Probably put a one on the side. We'll have to see. But the next set we're gonna put in the salvage hold, just so you can see kind of the process I take to get stuff down there. You can either put them down through the lift hole in the process room, or you can put them in this elevator here. It really kind of depends. I try to fill that room from back to front, coming towards this elevator. So like this. I usually can take this first. Jesus. I usually take this first box, just rotate it to face this, and then I'll usually just kind of walk it down. It can get hung on apps on this like ghost stuff, because I think there's an actual lift here that has like beams that's not showing up. If you go to the back of the reclaimer, which, you know, next time I'm in hangar I'll show you, but at the back of the reclaimer there's literally a lift that you can activate, and it drops down, which directly leads to this, but there's like some sort of like model disconnect. And yeah, see, there's like these little like invisible walls that gets hit on. So sometimes you get lucky and you can put it all the way down there flat, but other times it just does that. I really think that salvage lift needs to be fixed. Alright, let's bring this closer to us. I'll try to get off to the side a little bit, come off the ground. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It just really depends on like what your tractor beam is kind of wanting to do here. We'll put one more in here, because we're going to have to try to get that one out from the bottom. Go ahead and get these started. Normally I save this whole like bit till last, because like the first hammerhead just so easily just locked to grid up here. And also just the balcony. The balcony is like super easy to get stuff on. I never really counted, but I'm pretty sure you can get an entire hammerhead up there, which is usually, if you fill up the buffer, that's usually about 15 boxes. We'll put this one over here, because we're going to try to bring these two down from that side. See if I get lucky. Alright, down to the salvage hold. I really wish the salvage hold was a little more optimized. It feels a little finicky. I don't think it's I think if you were actually running like a multi-crew here and you had dedicated people down here while you're kind of like finding contracts, and it'd be different. You could bring 8s and 2s and all that kind of stuff down here a little easier. But you see what I'm saying here is like this, there's like some sort of invisible situation going on here that needs to be addressed. Jesus. Because I'm still convinced that there is like a legitimate, like that lift that comes out of the bottom is supposed to be right there, and we just can't see it because it's below this deck. Because like this whole like kind of black kind of mask is the same thing that's covering the beds in the crew area as well. Alright, that one just like decided to just jump back up on top. In terms of this room down here, you can put 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. It's usually you can get, you know, like a hammerhead and a half through here. Same rule for like the door. You can go higher in this frame than not, but it's like your tractor beam sometimes will do weird stuff. I know a lot of people like to utilize these bays for maximizing their loadouts, but as you can tell, it's just not built. It's just so finicky. Like, look at this. What am I hung on? I'm not hung on it shouldn't be hung on anything. There's just a lot of rework that needs to happen here. And you can bring these through like this as well. It just can be a little bit of a pain as well. It will fit eventually. Rotate this around, drop it down, bring it off the deck just a little bit, and try not to. So that's about as good as you're going to get. You know, you can't squeeze a whole lot more in there, but if you are just staying out in space for an extended amount of time, then, and you don't really care about time, like kind of been my my methodology lately, and you just kind of, you know, fill this up as needed. But for the most part, there is no real need to worry about the cargo or salvage hold until your balcony and a good majority of the process room is kind of already utilized. Let's go and get these locked to grid. And in terms of like actually just crazy stacking the cargo or the room up here, you want to try to give yourself some room to actually work through everything. So we're going to get these 10 on the grid here. I'm having like a bad tractor beam day. Let's go and get these over here. I try to minimize the rotation as best I can, but sometimes they just rotate willy-nilly, doing whatever they want to do. Looks like we got like one case left. Let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, I don't remember how many we put in the cargo hold. Yeah. See if we can go find another hammerhead real quick. That way I can kind of illustrate how I'm staging as well, which has changed a little bit. Also, if you ever get the bug where the filler station literally just kind of gets stuck, about the only way to fix it is to reclaim the reclaimer from another station, which gives you just like a freshie. I had one of my filler stations a little while ago, probably like last week or so. One of the filler stations just was like infinitely loading a box. And I ran with it for a while. I managed to, you know, get some salvaging done with just one filler station, but it was just so slow. And I was already at location when it stopped working, so I ended up finishing 8 hammerheads with just one filler station, which was obnoxious in itself. And then decided to take everything back to Orson, sold it, flew like the arrow back to Lorville, or Area 18, I can't remember, and then just reclaimed the reclaimer, and then everything worked out just fine. Another thing I'll try to do, and with this kind of just like a minor kind of process change I've done, is when I come up here to the hab deck, before I pass the captain's quarters, I'll usually check contract, either here or down there in the salvage process room when we're done. So we have one. If we have one, I'll just, continue going towards the bridge. If I don't, then I'll usually server hop, just go in there to the captain's quarters, lay on the bed, log out. The reason I do it back here is because depending on the server FPS and like the server lag, it can take a long time for the contract to, show active and tracking it and getting all the things. So by the time I get to the bridge and get sat down, get everything spooled up, we don't have to wait too long on anything. I'm pretty sure I logged out at my staging point, so I'll talk about that a little bit. I used to, when I first started doing salvaging, I used to just like salvage the hammerhead, and then I would just like burn out past the asteroid belt, come to a complete stop organically, and then just process from there. And then I started doing this thing where I would just, depending on what side of Yield I was on, I'd either pick one of the other moons and just quantum warp to it and pretty much immediately drop out. Gave me some deep space. But then it was causing me to have to do 2 quantum jumps to get back to my next contract. So what I've been doing lately is after I scrap or after I frack and disintegrate the hammerhead, I will go to either OM2 or OM1, and it puts me above or below the planet. So as you can see right here, I have full view of the belt, and I'm not that far from Yila, so I can essentially just process, and then if I get another contract, I'm only 1 quantum jump away from the next wreck. I always get really weary of hammerhead wrecks that are near Grimhex. Also, another annoying bit is whenever you first come in here, this getting the actual location for the hammerhead can be delayed sometimes based on the server. And there's a few wrecks here on my radar. You can also just go to your scan mode and look for the wrecks as well. Where is that one? So if I go over here and click on this, that's a hammerhead. We're going to hope that that's ours. And you can see that little like holographic image there. There it is. There's a few more wrecks right there you can see on my radar. Or at least ships that are not occupied right now. But I try to, not go over 150 meters a second when I'm approaching these, because there has been times where I've just not really paid attention and I've bumped the hammerhead, and then I've had to like follow it and wait for it to like de-accelerate. You can fix that by actually tractor beaming it to get it to stop, but then you get a crime stat. Like legit get a CS2 from just using the tractor beam on this thing. But then you get no CS for fracking and disintegrating it, which is interesting. My overall solo frack strategy hasn't changed a whole lot. More often than not, I will not take the head, because if you get close enough to the body, then it'll fill up the buffer. So what I normally do is I just come in here. I try to like come in exactly where the marker is over that turret. Try to square up on it as best I can. And then I'll approach it down to like 40. And then when I'm at 40, I'll just strafe up a little bit to where I can't really see the turret. Come to a complete stop. That usually puts me in a very, very good position to get like a plus 6% on the disintegration, which gets you usually the 240 from the body alone. All right. Get everything loaded up. Get our... I like to, adjust my view as well. Ooh, whew, look at that. That was close. We got real close on that one. This should frack really damn quick because we're right up next to it. I always hate when the claw actually hits the hammerhead when it comes out, because it can just send the thing spinning and just adds more time. I had one do that the other day where I was following it for so long, waiting for it to de-accelerate because I didn't want to tractor beam it. that we ended up getting out of the trespass area before I was even able to disintegrate it. Come on. Where we at? We're at 5%, but by the time we frack it, I'm hoping it'll start pushing itself back out. 2, 1. Yeah, we're probably not going to get filled up completely because it's all like at a weird angle. And it's just so random, right? It depends on like how the physics of the head and the body kind of interact when it fractures for what direction it goes. This is not ideal. This is probably going to give us like maybe 215, maybe 230. Just because it's so far off the invisible cone, as it were. Which isn't horrible because we can just kind of get out, readjust, get the head, and still fill up. If you don't feel like doing the illegal type missions, you don't have to necessarily go after hammerheads on the regular fee-based missions. C2s actually are really good at filling up the buffer as well. Yeah, you see we only got like 217 there because it just decided to... We probably got a little close on that one. I think we could have probably came out to like 40. If we would have come out to like 43, if we would have just been like 2 meters back, then I think it would have been entirely different. Not a really big strategy here because like we know that... Let's see, who do we got? Got somebody coming in. Looks like a Connie Taurus. There's like a whole like dragon, like with a dragonfly meta, so you gotta be careful too. I think if they actually get out of their pilot seat, it turns white. So we're going to try to frack this really quick because there's a whole like dragonfly meta right now where people will approach bigger ships in dragonflies and try to board them and stuff like that. So we're going to try to get out this in and out of the way. It's weird. I haven't had any issues with like PvP or anything lately. Or at all, really, but the meta has been kind of changing a little bit in terms of stuff happening. Because what they'll do is they'll get on the dragonfly, try to get close, and they'll try to just shoot open the top hatch and then board. So if we're quick, we can just get out of the way because obviously that was a person that was in a Connie Taurus and then went white, so they are doing whatever. So instead of just warping out completely, just try to get out of the way. Go and spool up. And then we're going to head to... Once we're kind of out of the way, we're going to head up to OM1 or OM2, whichever direction. We'll go OM2. And we got people here too. This whole place is full with players today. So what we'll do is we'll just keep... Yeah, so we got a radar lock. So we're just going to keep spinning the planet. Somebody at this OM as well. Yeah, we're probably going to like log this server just to get on another one because it's a little active on this one. See where we're at. OM6. We're at 0-1 right now, which is where we want to be. I'm going to flip around. Go and flip around, look at our review here. I'm actually glad that we've, had some issues with just people to kind of illustrate some strategies that can be used here. I'm going to come out a little bit. I'm not going to go full speed. But that's usually kind of where I stop. Like, I try not to chain them together too much on the same server. It can just be kind of obnoxious, especially when you're dealing with, like, people potentially trying to board you as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and basically check, make sure everything is good. And we're going to check our docking caller, and then we're probably going to just log off, and then we'll process on a different server because we can at least despawn the ship. Docking caller is good. Yeah. Alright, everything is good. We're going to go ahead and log out here. But yeah, I mean, that's just something you have to deal with. Like, you didn't have to deal with it too much before at the very beginning of the patch, but now that the whole reclaimer strategy and the whole reclaimer thing is kind of, I don't know, more meta, and it's more like kind of saturated and everything, then you do have people are starting to adopt strategies for PvP, and like I've done it too. You can take an Eclipse out and take care of reclaimers pretty well. But if you see a Connie Taurus like that and it's like blue and it goes white, chances are they're going to try to jump into a Dragonfly, because a Dragonfly can be like a meter, like a 1K from you, and you wouldn't be able to see it, and it can take down ships itself. Just if you don't have any like experience with like the Dragonfly bounty, doing ERTs and stuff like that, go look that up. So that's just a strategy you have to kind of like watch out for. But thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. In this series, we're going to just kind of continue going on and do the whole solo thing. Peace out.